Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody here on YouTube, welcome back one and all to the Boston Fans 79 V1 YouTube channel and
the Fortminorproject channel.
Yeah, and we are together again, as we will probably for the next couple of weekends. Today happens to be just a day to just kind of get together, and you know, David will be coming to my house next weekend, and then we'll be coming back here because on the 27th of November, right around the corner, we've got WWE Live.
Yes, the big show.
Yeah, can't wait for that. And but we are here today on both channels. So, David, thank you for having me here. Thank you for making your videos a part of my day. And
Anytime.
Thank you to everybody who is subscribing to us. And hope you guys enjoy the video. But we are both here today to do a collab video to talk to Simonnicolhd HD and Raphael Leduc, a.k.a. Page Guy, a.k.a. Anti-Eva Guy, a.k.a. The Shit Stirrer.
Yeah, pretty much all the names.
Yeah, all the same, all in one. It's right in that little mixing pot. But we are here giving a video response, and how it started off with Simonnicolhd HD.
Right.
He makes a video, WWE overdoing it. And then it went to Raphael Leduc making a video response. And then, you know, earlier this week I was going to do a response to it, but I didn't because I was having a busy week. I was busy not only with work, but making our pumpkin face tag team championship belts. So, but we are together. David texted me and he's like, well, why don't we just do the video together on Sunday? So that's what we're doing. And so, first of all, there's one thing we need to address. It seems we have some strife in the family unit.
Seems to be, yeah, apparently.
Yep, we have some strife in the family unit. That family being the Wrestling's Four Wings family.
Yeah.
As well as David's got his shirt, and the reason why we're both wearing the shirts is because that's just it. We're family. We're all in this together for one thing, as Andre Corbeil says, wrestling. Now, let me start off by saying this. Just because we're in a family, just like any other family, we don't always have to agree, right?
So basically, in the way of a family meeting.
Yep, we have a family meeting. It's a coming to Jesus meeting, for better terms. But yeah, like David doesn't always have to agree with my opinions, and I don't always have to agree with his opinions. But the biggest thing is to maintain a level of respect, because at the end of the day, David and I are always going to slap hands together, okay?
Exactly.
We would do the same thing for the rest of the family, Simonnicolhd HD and Raphael Leduc. But there's a problem. I made a video last night, okay? And of course, David saw it coming after I made the video, and it happened. I made a video talking about how I feel that Bayley, or there was a comment that was made to me on a Facebook status, and somebody chimed in and said that they feel that Bayley is overrated. Now, I did a video kind of elaborating on that, and of course, you know, David doesn't really agree. Simon doesn't really agree. Raphael Leduc sure as hell does not agree. And so, therefore, really for what it is, we are kind of calling out our brethren who basically made me feel disrespected, okay? So, and I'm not going to F-bomb. I'm not going to sit here and be like all raging and yelling, because
that...
don't
have a punching bag or anything, otherwise you can use your rage on that.
Yeah, that goes nowhere. But the bottom line is that, yes, I feel a little bit of disrespected, and I'm pissed at Raphael Leduc. So here's the start with Raphael Leduc. He started making wrestling videos, talking about wrestling, watching wrestling, shortly after, a few years ago, after he met Simonnicolhd, okay? And, you know, because he was a UFC fan, and he found Simon through the UFC videos, the MMA videos, and that's fine. But the biggest thing is that Raphael LeDuc always seems to kind of like rub people the wrong way. And that's what he did. I was rubbed the wrong way. He got under my skin, feeling disrespected, because here's a guy that starts watching wrestling a few years ago. Starts getting into it. And lately, you know, whenever I put up like a WWE video talking about WWE or a certain topic about it, whether it be a character, a storyline, whatever, Raphael LeDuc is always there to make a video response. Now, I did have my friend Leon, when I liked the video, he said, "Who the hell's this guy?" And Leon basically said that Raphael reminds him of Blake the Reaper, okay, in the terms of, you know, the video responses and the way he comes across, because the dude kind of comes, you know, for a guy that has not watched it for as long as I have, for as long as David has, for as long as Simonnicolhd HD has, the guy thinks he knows everything, okay? And that's just it. He thinks he knows everything about the product. He doesn't he hasn't lived it, which part of it is not his fault because he's a young kid. He's wet behind the ears. He's, like I said, he just starts watching it, you know, a few years ago. So he's got the gall to sit there and basically, you know, disrespect older fans, and saying, "Oh yeah, you know, you need to relax and, you know, enjoy this for what it is." Yeah. So, yeah. And so his video response that he gave to me last night is the exact way he came across. He came across as, well, a prick. Okay, he came off as a prick because he's sitting there, or standing there next to Simonnicolhd HD's punching mannequin, and, you know, he's got his arm around it, you know, leaning on it like he's a drunk bum. And he's giving, some of the first things that came out of his mouth was, "If I'm going to make a video like that, come in with facts." I never knew I was giving a factual video. I thought I was just addressing my opinion.
Guess we're gonna have to.
You know,
seems like it.
Because that's what I was doing. I was making my opinions and talking about how maybe I feel Bailey could be perceived as overrated. And he came off like a smart, and, you know, talking about facts. And, you know, when I was talking about Bailey in NXT, he's comparing the two. Yes, the fact is the NXT crowd is a lot smaller than that of the main roster crowd. Okay? I mean, is that right?
Simple,
Is that accurate?
That makes sense,
And she was getting the hugest pop from fans when at the Full Sail University or wherever it is that NXT decided to travel to. You know? And so then the crowd of the main roster, because the one thing that Raphael LeDuc did get right is I don't always have the time to watch wrestling. I don't have cable, you know, at the house, so I can't pop on the USA Network like that at a moment's notice. You know? And sometimes I don't watch wrestling until the weekends when I have some downtime. A Friday night, a Saturday, a Sunday. And that's when I get caught up with Monday Night Raw, NXT, SmackDown.
A lot of content.
Yeah, it's a lot of content to watch.
It is.
And, which, by the way, this week's NXT I thought was pretty damn good. But that's neither here nor there. So then moving forward, you know, that's the one thing that he got right. And then he's talking about how, you know, the fact that he goes back to Charlotte and what I had said about Charlotte. It seems like that is the only thing he can ever say. I mean, about what my at first thoughts of Charlotte were when she had her father with her. Okay? And I had said what I said about her. And that seems to be the only argument that he can bring up.
Well, I think everybody goes through that too, like, especially with a certain wrestler, you don't like them at first, but eventually you gotta grow on to them, and you start liking them, or having respect at least. Yeah, like, Seth, let me give you an example. Seth Rollins, for example. When he was a heel, a cowardly heel, I didn't like him. But the dude has grown on me. He has. It's like that. And I think
if I remember correctly, Rafael Leduc went ahead also in his video and said that that he doesn't change his mind that often. And apparently I'm wrong because I changed my mind about Charlotte. You know, I believe that's what he had said, if I'm not mistaken.
It just doesn't have to be that way.
You know, I mean, you are, as a fan, allowed to change what you think and say. Okay? Like, you don't like a wrestler one day, but then they eventually grow on you.
Right.
And all of a sudden you like them. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know? So it's just that simple. So, and like I said, just, you know, in other words, with Leduc, I mean, that, like I said, that's the way he was coming across and just being an ass. And it pissed me the fuck off. It did. Because, you know, all I was doing was giving an opinion, and he's talking about facts. You know? So, I got off my chest what I had to say. So, do you have anything else you want to discuss in that term, in that light, that we're the subject that we're talking about, David?
Well, in terms of that, I mean, we do bump heads. Like I said, we talked about things on PS4 chat, and then went back and forth too. So, yeah, like I said, in terms of with wrestlers, like, you don't like them at first, I'll go to another one, like with Brock Lesnar years ago. I used to hate him. I didn't really like him because he was attacking The Rock and stuff like that when they were feuding. But now, as I really watch Brock Lesnar more and then know more about him, I end up at least having respect for him and actually liking him a bit more. So there's more into that example. So basically trying to calm things down, and even though when things get hard in wrestling, yes, sometimes there can be a bit of a distraction, which we'll get into later on. But other than that, yes, we do have the chance to bump heads and stuff, but respectfully. And then once things aren't really in the agreement, we somehow find that agreement level in a way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the biggest thing. The biggest word out of it. Respect. You know, and I feel Leduc was disrespectful to me. So, you know, that's what we had to get off our chest.
Right.
Or at least for me. David threw his 2 cents in. Now we're going to move on with the actual the actual subject of the video, which is the WWE overdoing it. Now, David, because I talked for a while, let's give, and I do apologize about that.
That's fine. That's what we're here for.
But let's give you the stage.
Yeah.
Let's give you the microphone. Kick us all off in this video response to Simon and Raphael about the WWE overdoing it.
In terms of overdoing it, especially now with the Big 4 pay-per-views being so long, first off we got WrestleMania, which basically started it off. Now in 2004 basically went into the 4-hour format, starting off at 7. So eventually now, years later, same thing, basically now getting a little bit longer, and now basically having to be an all-night event from 7 up until about, I want to say, 11:30ish now, which basically ends off with the Big 4 pay-per-views. So, yeah, in a way they are doing it, and it can be a little annoying too at the same time. That's probably it is one of the reasons why I pretty much stopped doing the pay-per-view reviews, because it ends up being so long, and by the time the pay-per-view is over, it ends up basically being near midnight as of right now. So, I know Survivor Series is going to be doing the same thing pretty soon, of course, for this year's Survivor Series next weekend, so that'll be just as long. So there's only so much I think you can really do to it to make it really exciting, especially what they're doing with the Survivor Series, adding the traditional tag team matches, and actually they're doing the booking actually earlier, which is another good thing. But like I said, there's only so much you can do until you get bored with it, basically.
Yeah, that's right. And to throw my 2 cents into the whole mix about the WWE overdoing it, this spans back a while, okay? This spans all the way back to when they first announced that the WWE was going to have 3-hour Monday Night Raws, okay? That's what it spans back to. Now, there's an agreement between the USA Network and the WWE, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't know if by view. I think the viewership is keeping it at bay to keep those 3-hour Monday Night Raws. Okay, the pay-per-views. Okay, the pay-per-views. We've got about 12 or 13 a year. Okay. Now what they're adding is like an extra hour to an hour and a half, plus about an hour or a half hour for the pre-show. Mm-hmm. So you end up actually getting about, even for the smaller pay-per-views, about a 4-hour show. Then you get the big four, okay? Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, okay? You'll kick off the pay-per-view pre-show early, okay?
That basically starts you off about an hour.
Yeah,
sometimes.
And then you get the 4-hour pay-per-view on top of that.
Yeah.
So that's going to make it 5 hours.
Then probably, give or take, they'll probably have a post-show on top of
a post-show, or like for WrestleMania, they might do the pre-show an hour and a half to 2 hours early. Mm-hmm. So you end up with for WrestleMania, you end up with a 7-hour show.
That's pretty much all night.
That is an all-nighter. And on top of, now nobody forces you to watch, okay? Nobody forces you to watch. So if you just watch the pay-per-view, great. If you decide to watch a pre-show plus the pay-per-view, plus if there's a post-show afterwards, that's up to you. Okay? Everything is all WWE Network based. Plus, all, like I said, all the content that they have. You got NXT. Okay? So the WWE really is, because they have so many superstars, because they did the brand split, and they're constantly adding to their roster and pulling people up from NXT to then, because example, if we do a pay-per-view pre-show for, here on YouTube for Survivor Series and NXT, I would guess that Shinsuke Nakamura is going to retain and Joe's going to come up to the main roster. But I could be wrong. I do digress. So that's just an example. But WWE, going back to overdoing it, it's a huge conglomerate company, a $1 billion company that they want to be number one. Okay, TNA, companies like TNA, ROH, PWG, CZW, they're the small companies. They're your local companies. Right. WWE, that's big business. So in order to remain big business, they have to push their product. Right. So is the WWE, to the casual fan or to any type of fan, overdoing it? It depends on how you look at it. I do think that they are overdoing it because it's a lot of content. I really do. I really feel that way. But at the same time, again, going back to the fact that no one's forcing you to watch, if you do what I do, okay, you watch SmackDown on Hulu, you watch an hour of NXT, and you watch an hour and a half of chosen content that they choose to edit Raw on Hulu. It really doesn't get to be that bad as what most people decide to choose to sit there and, like David, for example, Simon, watching a 3-hour Monday Night Raw. Right. That's exhausting.
It does get exhausting, especially towards, when you get towards, the middle of the show, towards the end. That's when it becomes a little bit draining. Depending how they do it, because I know they change things up. Maybe one time they'll have things start off with the women, then the cruiserweights, the tag team division. Right. Then it alternates.
Yeah, they got to work everything in.
Yeah.
And for somebody I could not sit there with a 3-hour Monday Night Raw. For a guy that works about a 10-hour day, at least 5 days a week, I get freaking exhausted at night. Yeah. So Monday Night Raw, Monday nights, I'm sorry, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, my go-to shows are my comic book shows. Supergirl, Arrow, The Flash, and DC Legends of Tomorrow. But that's me. I'm still very much a WWE fan. I love it. And I'll always be there to watch it. but I have to watch it at my convenience, because for somebody that doesn't have cable, I have an indoor TV antenna, and that's how I watch, my comic book shows. So they take my first priority during the week, and stuff that goes on the WWE Network or Hulu can come secondary.
Right. And those shows, too, that you watch, I watch them, too. They're only about an hour each.
Right, and that's it.
And it goes by quickly.
And then you can do whatever after those shows are done. Go to bed, because somebody that works, like I said, a 10-hour day has to get their rest,
Yeah.
So in closing, because this video has gone on way too long, WWE overdoing it? Yeah, we agree.
Definitely, yeah. And especially even with that being, like, with them overdoing it, and especially now, like, depending where things are going, like, for Raw, like, something I don't like, I'll just basically, like, be on my phone and stuff, or talk to you guys, or whatever have you, and then I just won't really watch it as much, and then watch the things that I'm really looking forward to seeing. So, anyway, yes, I do watch it, and at the same time, I just watch it a little less, or don't really pay too much attention to it.
Right.
If I don't like it.
Right, because that's just it. Like, if there's something you don't like on the show.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I'll, go do laundry, go to the bathroom, get a snack, go, let your dog out, or you work on you work on belts.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of things, like, and Simon has said, like, he's done his dishes.
Right. That's not really a bad thing. Sometimes you actually have to do those things.
Yeah, some things just don't appeal to you on the show.
Yeah.
So therefore, you go in and you do, you watch what you want to watch on the show.
Yeah.
And if there's, like I said, something that you think is like a total piss break, or you go and you want to do something else, yeah, go for it. I mean, it's not wrong. It's not taking away from your fanhood. No. It's something that doesn't appeal to you.
Exactly.
Like, it's just like anything else. So,
yeah,
that's really what we wanted to discuss today. Calling out Mr. Leduc.
Yeah.
Because we're none too pleased with him at the moment, or at least, and
just to have a better understanding of that, I'm sure there's going to be a video response, and that's fine. Mr. Brother Dylan, you're welcome to do a response to that, so get the discussion rolling. Hopefully we were able to talk things through to you and stuff.
Right, and the one thing I told Simon this morning when he texted me was Season 3 of The Jersey Shore, Episode 1, Ronnie got pissed off at Dina, the new girl, and he said that he'd almost rather have Angelina back than have the new girl that instantaneously started shit. And I said to Simon, I'm like, I would almost rather have John back, which, by the way, we do all hope with whatever John is doing. He's doing really well in life. We miss him. And
same thing with Adam. I know he's doing other stuff. I talk to him from time to time.
Right. And so, but that's just it. Like, I just not a happy person with Raphael at the moment. And yeah, I'm sure he's going to do a video reply to this. And if he does, great. Yeah. Whatever. Or we can settle this in a PM. But I wanted to come on here, talk about it, and remain respectful as possible. So that's about it for us. Yep. We're closing this up, and we hope that you guys had a really great weekend, or having a really good weekend. We look forward to seeing you guys in the next videos ahead, and we will see you all real soon. Yeah. So you guys take care. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.